How are you guys?
Great.
Good.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
Nice to meet you
Tony.
guys. Now, Spark Shorts guys are very, very personal stories. Louis, could you tell us more a little bit about where Nona came from?
Well, Nona was a couple of characters. It started off as a couple of characters that they kept sticking around, right? Like
Mhm.
when I'm coming up with stories at home, stuff that I want to tell, it's kind of like these little fires that perk up, right? And you kind of try and contain them and keep them in a space. And this was one that kept burning, right? These two characters, they kept coming back. Why do I want to tell a story with this old grandma who might be a shaman, who works with her hands, who's very mean to all the adults, but very loving to the kids, buys them ice cream and stuff like that. And then I have this granddaughter who's just like a little cat, right? She's super sweet and quiet with glasses, but when the grandma turns around to get her a sandwich, so much she turns back, the little girl's gone, right? Just classic kid stuff where I wanted to play with, the generations of having a grandmother that should know better and the young granddaughter that just tries her patience. I just think that's always funny, in terms of relationships. So for me, it was just these two characters that stuck around. And when I started the Spark, I was like, I'm gonna tell their story for Spark. And that's when I started in Spark to really develop their story, is when I started realizing just what it was about for me, because I didn't really know at the beginning. It was just fun topical, like a fun characters, but getting into the story, you have to dig deep for that, those emotional truths, those things that resonate. So I didn't really find out what it was about until like halfway through the process, to me, because I was just like, oh, let me find these characters and then get the inspiration. And then, you kind of have an idea, but you have to like let it take its path and find its own conclusion. So you can go, oh, that's what I was trying to talk about. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Now, earlier also you mentioned you have a background in graffiti and you liked it because of the community.
Yeah.
You also spoke so much pride about your team that helped you make Nona. Would you say that kind of community idea carries over into animation?
Oh, 100%. It's the very thing I fell in love with animation. When I started as a career was I went from, high school, graduating, thankfully, and being just in that mix of like every day of my life was graffiti, and it was that because, before that it was even that, but like once I graduated high school, it was always about, so it was more about like the guys and gals that you hung out with are all artists. It was like this band of pirates that loved creativity and we wanted to share in like stuff. And when I got to animation, it kind of felt the same. A bunch of passionate artists that want to make a great film, that draw for a living. I was like, I found my space in this world. I can't leave. You know what I mean? So it was a beautiful thing to find animation because it felt so akin to what I loved about graffiti.
Courtney, also, I'll invite your opinion on this too. Would you say that kind of generations of people teaching each other art and everything like that carry over in like Nona does?
Absolutely. I feel like each person that we brought onto the team, you're bringing in a whole new perspective. I think that we created an environment where people felt really like their thoughts and ideas really mattered. And so that comfortable environment, like they contributed so much. And I think that made the story so much stronger. And our crew was a wide range of diversity across age spans. And I think it only helped make the film even better.
Well, I loved it, and it's fantastic. And it's at first I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's just wrestling, but you realize there's far more to it than what's on that surface there.
Exactly.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a
Take
great
care.
night.
You too.